share this. That's how
Yes.
insane this is. I had
Yes.
to share this.
This
Behold,
is a
Screen Rants. 15 greatest Power Ranger ripoffs.
prepare for the cringe.
Like every single line in each of these entries is going to just make you go, how? So,
The cringe.
give me a second, and I shall begin my dramatic reading voice. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and its many, many sequel series largely derived from the Japanese Super Sentai franchise. Power Rangers would take footage from these shows and splice in additional scenes featuring American actors as the unmasked Rangers. And 90s kids television phenomena was born. Although you could certainly argue that Power Rangers itself was ripped off either Super Sentai or Only Shelter's Voltron, its popularity in the West meant that a bevy of cheap knockoffs were inevitable. Its popularity in the West meant that a bevy of cheap knockoffs were inevitable. Its popularity in the West. I just wanted to make sure you understand how they're phrasing this. While some of these series eventually became popular in their own right, others were poor imitations of their inspiration, and few didn't even make it out of their native Japan. All of them, however, demonstrate the enduring popularity of the legacy Power Rangers has created. With a modern cinematic reboot in theaters this month, perhaps it's time to revisit some of the many Mighty Morphin Power Rangers specifically clones have on offer. Here are the 15 greatest Mighty Morphin Power Ranger ripoffs. 15. Squadron Sport Ranger. It's amazing to think that it took until 2006 for someone to come up with the idea of melding Power Rangers with the wonderful world of sports. Given the Rangers' natural athleticism, I think it would be an obvious move. But it was Thai-based series Squadron Sport Ranger that eventually pulled the trigger on the concept. Running for 2 seasons, SSR sees 5 teenagers recruited by Dr. Earth and dressed in colorful armors in order to protect some magical metals from the evil Star Hunter aliens. In Power Rangers, each protagonist had their own unique dinosaur theme, but predictably, Squadron Sport Ranger sees each member specializing in their own sport, with boxing, soccer, swimming, gymnastics, and tennis, making up the 5 sections. The show also features the use of mech robots to round off the Power Rangers versions, and is more or less identical to the show both in visual style and tone. SSR does include some surprisingly dark elements, however, such as the 3 male sports rangers sacrificing themselves to save the world in Season 1, Chivalrous.
Have they forgotten about Gogo 5?
But Go-Go 5 is just another ripoff of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
No, Gogo 5.
Again, it's just a ripoff of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Everyone knows that. God, what are you, stupid?
I want to see the comments for this.
Oh, we'll get to them. Number 14, Hikono Sentai Ikiba Danger. As previously mentioned, Power Rangers was the American adaptation of Japan's Super Sentai series, and although Hikono Sentai Ikiba Danger isn't a part of that franchise, many Japanese fans consider it to be an unofficial installment. One of the most recent entries on the list, first airing in 2012, HSA differentiates itself from being aimed towards a more adolescent audience. It features only 3 protagonists instead of the usual 5. Perhaps the most recognizable element of the show, however, is the colorful styled hairdo on each Ranger's armor.
Well, then again, I mean, the adolescent thing isn't completely wrong.
This is a show that literally had the girls being slapped on the ass and showing their panties. This is a show that name literally means unofficial Sentai Ikiba Rangers, and is produced by the people who make Super Sentai.
Yes, but there's always weirder in Japan.
And yet,
there's always...
the article goes forward. Because it says here, conjuring up memories of the Mighty Morphin Emo Rangers parody that circulated online some years ago. The 3 Ikiba Rangers of red, blue, and yellow varieties each sport molded hairstyles when they suit up, resulting in the likes of Akiba Yellow's Schoolgirl Bunches, Akiba Red's gravity-defying anime cut. Fans in the West may have been unimpressed by initial images of the armor in 2017's Power Rangers reboot movie, but one look at Hikono Sentai Ikiba Ranger shows just how bad things could have been.
I wish we could get a Ikiba Ranger, but no. Because we have freaking Saban. and Nick.
We're only 2 entries into this, folks. Wait till you
If
see some of the
only,
lower ones.
if
Toka My
only we had,
Sentai, Toka My Hero, Rescue Force.
if only we had Cartoon Network running like Power Rangers, we could have at least gotten something for Ikiba Danger on Adult Swim.
Power Rangers often took criticism of being a glorified toy commercial, but such accusations would have been far more appropriate in the case of Toka My Hero Rescue Force. Toka My Hero is actually based on a pre-existing set of toy vehicles of the same name made by the Takara Tomy Corporation. Okay. Waiting for my computer to stop throwing a hissy fit.
Waiting for my phone to stop being weird on this too. Because my god, after clicking one ad,
My Takara Tomy, and as such, the characters are often seen using a variety of rescue vehicles in order to defeat evil and save the day. Given the concept, the show arguably rips off Transformers as much as it does Power Rangers. And for those who don't know, Takara Tomy, they own Transformers. Yeah, the show that they say is arguably ripping off Transformers is made by the people who own Transformers. Let that sink in. And for those who don't know, Transformers is actually owned by two primary companies, just like how Bandai of America and Bandai Japan and Toei and Saban all kind of own the Power Rangers Sentai franchise. When it comes to Transformers, it's Hasbro and Takara. So by saying that the show arguably rips off Transformers as much as it does Power Rangers, Takara makes Transformers. Running for over 50 episodes and spawning a sequel series in Toka My Hero Rescue Fire, the show clearly outgrew its status as a merchandise spin-off series and built a solid Japanese following in its own right. Although the show never made a transition to Western shores, the combination of martial arts, cars, and construction taps into 3 themes kids of all generations and cultures love and certainly had the potential to translate effectively.
even the 2 SICs that I have on hand currently, you know, Denim and Zeranos, even they wonder why this was made.
Number 12.
I mean,
Voice Luger. A group of teenagers selected. I've never heard of this one. Selected and given superpowers by an otherworldly being in order to stop an incoming alien threat. Stop us if you've heard this one before. Originally conceived as a parody of Super Sentai-styled tokusatsu series, before becoming one of them for real, Voice Luger sees 4 young Earthlings given the powers of the Voice Stones, which they must protect from the evil Moan Empire, who seek to use their powers to control a demonic beast of hell. The show's overriding gimmick is that the Voice Stones give the user's voices supernatural powers, and unlike Power Rangers, the heroes rely on their vocal prowess to save the day rather than martial arts skill or giant B-movie mechas. Another key difference is the show's Zordon figure, Voice Luger Gold, actually joins the recruits as their 5th member, rather than sitting on the sidelines and letting a group of teenagers do the dirty work, as the great Zordon did for years on end.
wait, is that, who is that? It's gold, because I think that guy seriously looks like Ichiro Mizuki.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Let me look at Voice Luger.
Alright, I'll let you look for Voice Luger. Now, some of these, you can make the argument that they're clear rip-offs, but we haven't gotten to the obvious rip-offs, or the ones that are really stupid for being on this list. We'll get to them, don't worry. But you can see why I had to stream this, right, folks?
Yes.
The level of sheer up ignorance in this one video.
Oh my god, guess who does play Voice Luger Gold? Guess who does play Voice Luger Gold?
Ooh.
It is literally, like, legitimately Ichiro Mizuki. Seriously, go look it up right now.
I've got more of these things to read.
Don't worry, he has a page. There's a page for it on Ranger Wiki.
I'm just gonna move forward. I still got 11 more of these to get through.
God.
Number 11, vampires. Vampires, get it? They're like vampires, but transformed into vehicles and never mind. Silly title aside, this show has some serious star power behind it, with an uncredited Gary Oldman as on wise mentor duty and John Entwistle of The Who providing the soundtrack. You certainly can't accuse vampires of lacking an A-list presence. The show was also one of the first television productions to regularly utilize CGI segments, which were mixed with live-action material. Another matchup of Power Rangers and Transformer tropes. Vampires sees 4 ordinary teens, obviously, accidentally given the ability to transform into fighting vehicles called motivators. They're then thrust into battle with their mortal enemies, the titular vampires.
Actually, Dragon, we're doing a different stream.
Which one?
Just click the link in general.
Yes.
For 15 greatest Power Rangers ripoffs.
They're then thrust into battle with their mortal enemies, the titular vampires, in a struggle to protect the world, lasting only 13 episodes, aka an entire season. Vampires was far from prolific, but has more than a few moments of merit and innovatively melds classic horror themes and vehicle-based mechanical combats for a relatively original premise. Despite the fact that you put it on a list of Power Ranger ripoffs, you're calling it original. I don't think this writer knows the meaning of words.
Dragon.
Yes.
Have you opened the list?
No, I've already read it before.
Alright. So,
yeah.
Alright, so you know the voice logger one?
Yeah.
Guess who plays gold?
Ichiro Miduki.
Exactly.
And Hironobu Kageyama, I think, was also in the show as well.
Number 10, Ultraman Tiga. As part of Japan's Ultra series, which began way back in 1966, this entry's status as a Power Ranger ripoff can certainly be debated, considering that, it was created, 30 years before Power Rangers was a thing. However, Ultraman Tiga in 1996 represented a partial reboot of the series after over a decade away from the screen and introduced many new and contemporary elements that were more in line with Super Sentai style. The show featured just the one protagonist, an Earthling named Daigo, who was gifted with the spirit of Ultraman Tiga and charged with defending Earth from an onslaught of freakish alien creatures. Despite partially breaking away from the standard Sentai format, Ultraman Tiga feels very close to the series in both style and tone, particularly during Tiga's various climactic battles. The show also delivers the same heartwarming themes of working together to achieve peace and a hero fulfilling his ultimate destiny. Unlike some Japanese entries on this list, Ultraman Tiga did actually receive an English dub, and this is broadcast in the United States on Fox Channel, although they failed to gain the same level of recognition as Power Rangers enjoys.
Yeah, my dad was actually in it, apparently.
Wait, your dad was in it?
I mean, check his IMDb page.
And he was in Ultraman Tiga?
The dub,
yeah,
right?
English dub. Yeah.
Awesome. Maybe we could watch it and like see what voice he did.
I don't even know what voice he did.
Number 9, Los Luchadores. Combining Power Rangers with the world of Mexican wrestling is Los Luchadores. Like his 90s progenitor, Los Luchadores was produced by Saban Entertainment and aired on Fox Kids Network shortly after the turn of the millennium. The show took place in the fictional locale of Union City, an area burdened with a buffoon of a mayor and an unpleasant stream of monster attacks which the Luchadores were tasked with repelling. The protagonists of the series were color-coordinated lucha libre wrestlers who wore traditional Mexican wrestling garb that was given a Power Rangers makeover. In line with the wrestling gimmick, the more futuristic elements of MMPR were toned down, but the paper-thin plots, over-the-top action sequence, and goofy villains were all present and correct. Theoretically, the show could have bridged the gap between Power Rangers and the older WWE WWF, but failed to do so and was canceled 2 years after it was on the air. So a show literally produced by Saban, who produces Power Rangers, is being considered to be a ripoff of Power Rangers.
Yep.
The same author also said that VR Trooper.
Oh, we're gonna get to that. Don't worry. I'm doing these one at a time so we can cover the
Just don't
madness.
spoil them. Yes, Dragon, don't spoil them.
Number 8, Mummies Alive. This was an animated TV show, folks. Although it may not be much as a wholesale ripoff of many entries on this, Mummies Alive still borrowed a few key elements from Power Ranger series on its way to popularity. Successful in both the United States and the United Kingdom, Mummies Alive was an animated series that followed the adventures of 4 guardian mummies from ancient Egypt who must protect the modern-day reincarnation of Prince Rapses. It's Prince Ramses. Can you at least do the proper check? It's Prince Ramses, not Rapses. From the evil villain Scare.
Are you sure?
I watched Mummies Alive.
Well,
Fans remember the group used the mystical powers of Ra to gain enhanced powers, funky armor, and improved combat skills in order to protect their young master. Mummies Alive ran for one mammoth 42-episode season. The plans for follow-up were axed due to dwindling ratings. Time has been kind to the show, however, and Mummies Alive's now grown-up audience remembers the series fondly among cartoon classics such as Gargoyles and Street Sharks. I'm surprised they're not calling Gargoyles and Street Sharks a Power Rangers ripoff.
no, they just put them all there.
Kamen Rider Kuuga.
Don't fucking tell me they put that shit on there.
They did.
Number 7, Kamen Rider Kuuga. Much like Ultraman Tiga, the Kamen Rider franchise...
Okay, can you please read that? Okay, what the actual fuck? Kuuga is not a fucking bootleg. How fucking dare they call that shit a bootleg? That's a fucking reboot of Kamen Rider. And don't say that Super Sentai... Power Rangers got their shit from Kamen Rider. Don't say the other shit around. God damn.
Why do you think I had to make this sudden stream? You realize how mad this is, right?
Yeah.
And
This
it
is the
gets better.
definition of literal insanity.
It gets better.
Much like Ultraman Tiga, the Kamen Rider franchise began long before Power Rangers was conceived, which is a fallacy considering Power Rangers was conceived in the 80s by Stan Lee. And was very much a source of inspiration for the Super Sentai franchise and its use of acrobatics and schlocky villains. The show finished shortly before the Power Rangers phenomenon kicked off, but was revived in the new millennium with a format style that was a lot closer to Sentai style that has become popular in its absence. The two franchises even crossed over on occasion, when the Riders and Rangers battling side by side. The Kamen Rider series was based on a human hero modified with bug-like characteristics who was responsible for fighting Shocker! An evil organization hell-bent on world domination, naturally. Perhaps the biggest influence the series had on Power Rangers was the concept of new human characters taking over the hero's role, as the Kamen Rider title is passed from one figure to the next. The enduring popularity of the series eventually led to an American version. We'll get to that one later.
You can't call Kuuga a Sentai ripoff. If anything, you have to call like Agito or Ryuki one, because those didn't have just one rider. Thank God.
Okay, this one I'll give them this one. Tattooed teenage alien fighters from Beverly Hills.
Yes. Yes.
They got one right. Apart from the bit about tattoos, the show's title sounds a bit like a sentence one might use to describe Power Rangers to someone who's never seen it before. As such, tattooed teenage alien fighters from Beverly Hills sets its stall out as a ripoff very clearly indeed. Grammar! If I can't read it, and I am not known for my great spelling, then you need to be able to proofread.
My God.
The group of teens employed by a mysterious alien to fight off other evil aliens concept is included in its entirety, but the smaller budget meant that TTAFFBH production values were embarrassing even by 90s standards, managing to make Power Rangers look even more impressive in the process. For all its flaws, the show was at least self-aware and able to poke fun at itself in dialogue. The final episode was even a spoof of Christmas classic It's a Wonderful Life. TTAFFBH may have fallen off the radar somewhere since leaving television, but anyone that thinks Power Rangers couldn't possibly get any cheesier should give it a look for legend and truly corny nostalgia. Number 5, Superhuman Samurai Cybersquad. Wasn't Superhuman Samurai Cybersquad also produced by Saban?
Nope. DIC Entertainment, which the original show is from Sabraya.
But how can you say grid? How can you say this is one when you already pretty much have Tiga? You have Tiga already. They're the same base thing.
Oh, listen to this. The very first line. Despite being an unashamed rip-off of the Super Sentai format, Superhuman Samurai Cybersquad's popularity has surprisingly endured the sands of time rather well. The show's premise actually sounds more like a Digimon prototype than a Power Rangers clone, as protagonist Sam is sucked into a digital world to fight off the various viruses that plague it, as well as his fellow student and love rival, Malcolm's Mega Virus. What? Let me reword that. Rewrite it. As protagonist Sam is sucked into a digital world to fight off the various viruses that plague it, as well as his fellow student and love rival, Malcolm's Mega Virus. The hell? The grammar. Proofread.
I don't think they can.
And that's where the Digimon similarities end and the Power Ranger ones begin. Inside the digital world, Sam has the ability to use his arsenal programs to fight alongside him or use it as armor. Much like the Ranger Zords, these took on the form of a dragon or a cyborg and combined with Sam to create a powerful Megazord-style warrior. Interestingly, arch-villain Kilokan was voiced by none other than widely respected, much-loved Tim Curry of the Rocky Horror Picture Show and its fame. Oh my, oh my, oh my. Number 4.
Masked Rider. Masked Rider. Masked Rider.
As the popularity of Power Rangers exploded, kids' TV executives quickly began searching for other material from Japan to adapt for an American audience, and they soon found it in the form of the previous entry, Kamen Rider, produced by the duo responsible for Power Rangers, Haim Saban and Shuki Levy, and, actually featuring a team-up with the Power Rangers. Masked Rider stuck to the same tried and tested formula and applied it to the world of Kamen. Yeah, just the world of Kamen.
Yeah, not Ednor.
As a promotional stunt, the new rider appeared alongside the American Power Rangers shortly before his own series aired, establishing they both existed in the same universe. But the new show just couldn't reach the same level of popularity. Bandai deemed viewing figures and toy sales too low, and Masked Rider was dished after 40 episodes. The lower viewership may have been due to the series' lighter, more comedic tone that saw its alien protagonist attempt to blend into a normal American, and the introduction of a small annoying pet called Phoebus.
How dare they? How dare they call Phoebus annoying?
That's not even getting over the fact that they're calling this entire list is rip-offs of Power Rangers when this was literally produced as an expansion of Power Rangers.
We gotta shut them down. We gotta report this.
Clearly, that means that what? Power Rangers Samurai is a rip-off of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Yeah.
As is Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue, Power Rangers Dino Thunder, Ninja Steel as well. Oh, how could we forget Power Rangers Dino Charge? That's a ripoff of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Oh yeah, definitely. Alien Rangers is.
Alien Rangers of
Zeo.
Aquitar. Time Force.
Yeah. Zeo.
SPD. Possibly the most
RPM.
I know what season is the most rip off of Power Rangers. They even got some of the actors back. Power Rangers Zeo.
I said
Mystic
that
Force.
already.
I mean Power Rangers Turbo. They're all the same. They're all rip offs.
Space.
Power Rangers in Space, yes. That's a rip off of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Yo Lost Galaxy. That was 2.
Number 3, Mystic Knights of Tir na Nog. Mystic Knights of Tir na Nog is not only one of the most fondly remembered Power Rangers clones, but also made one of the biggest efforts to stand out and be different. Yet another brainchild of the Saban Company. Mystic Knights saw an attempt to move the tokusatsu format into the medieval period with swords and sorcery values set in a fictionalized Ireland. Each of the 4 young protagonists chosen by young Kochubar to protect the land from the evil Queen Mauve and her monsters is given their own elements of fire, water, air, and earth, as well as a typical suit of armor to match. The series placed greater emphasis on long-term, ongoing storytelling than Power Rangers ever did, and the show itself built a loyal following. Unfortunately, as was the case with Mask Rider, Mystic Knights wasn't the smash hit Saban was hoping for, and hoping it would be, and a potential second series was scrapped in favor of producing Power Rangers Lost Galaxy.
Mask Rider.
Mask Rider.
So they straight up admit that this was produced by the same people who produced Power Rangers, and instead of producing a second season of this, they produced a different season of Power Rangers. And yet they're saying this is a ripoff of Power Rangers, despite the fact that it's... A ripoff implies it's some other company trying to ride on the coattails of the work of another company. If one company is producing different works in a similar vein, it's not a ripoff.
No, that's
It's
exactly
considered
what
a spin-off, not a ripoff.
Exactly.
Yes, this is a ripoff for the same company.
Yes, clearly Haim Saban was so full of himself he ripped himself off.
Exactly.
Multiple times, in fact. Because we haven't even gotten to the other ones from Saban yet. We've only covered Mystic Knights and Mask Rider. Don't worry, there's more Saban properties on this list.
Everything else.
Like Big Bad Beetleborgs, number 2.
And
my
we
God.
are troopers.
Perhaps the closest Saban and Levy came to replicating their Power Rangers success was with the Big Bad Beetleborgs series. The show's trio of main characters were each presented in a unique metallic armor and came equipped with their own individual arm-mounted weapons, all of which made for an awesome toy range. Just like MMPR, Beetleborgs used footage from a Japanese series, this time Metal Hero. And the giant mech weapons were present in full insect-themed force. Although Beetleborgs and Power Rangers never crossed over on screen, the two series did share some monster props and musical cues, although this was more likely just a way to save money. Rather than a genuine attempt at a shared universe, unlike many other Saban series, Beetleborgs wasn't canned due to a lack of interest or poor toy sales. Instead, the company simply ran out of Japanese footage to adapt, and so were forced to bring the popular series to a close.
And now, number 1.
Number 1! The number 1 Power Rangers ripoff,
Is
Virtual Reality Troopers.
Something that we're listing every Sunday.
Saban had another hit on their hands with Virtual Reality Troopers,
VR.
a series that arguably had as much in common with Beetleborgs as it did with Power Rangers. However, the show's central theme of virtual reality allowed us to explore some new and intriguing ideas. An example of this new approach was the focus on main character Ryan Steele's relationship with his estranged father, which put a welcome personal spin in the narrative that wasn't present in other Saban shows. Virtual Reality Troopers was still very much a rip-off show, however, even though it was produced by Saban, and featured 3 youngsters who stumbled into the responsibility of protecting the real world from Grimlord, using some nifty virtual reality armor and weapons to do so. Just like Beetleborgs, Virtual Reality Troopers fell foul of footage deficiency, even though it scavenged material from several different Japanese productions, and was subsequently canceled despite being commercially successful and popular with kids.
My God. How stupid are these people?
On to the
Why don't you
comments.
just- Yeah, write the comments. I want to see what the comment section say about this.
Alright. Howling Snail, 1 day ago. I never could have imagined articles so inaccurate. Do they even know what a ripoff is? No, they do not. Wild Boy.
No.
If you know your history, you know that Ultraman came way before Sentai. It's known as the father of all Sentai series. TWL. Okay, so this list is, wow. Putting Kamen Rider Kuuga, for that matter, Kamen Rider at all on this list is wrong on so many levels. Kamen Rider and Ultraman has no influence from Power Rangers whatsoever. If one were to actually watch Kamen Rider any season, they'd be able to tell the difference, even between it and Super Sentai. By this same logic, Power Rangers was a ripoff of Sentai because it follows a similar formula. As for Ikiba Danger, it's a parody made by the same company behind Super Sentai. Toy! Hikono even means unofficial. And Ikiba Danger has no influence with Power Rangers either. The only reference it has to Power Rangers is poking fun of them in one episode. Most of these shows are Power Ranger ripoffs, but Super Sentai ripoffs. Most of these shows are Power Ranger ripoffs, but Super Sentai shows are. This person obviously didn't spell check. Most of these shows aren't Power Ranger ripoffs, but Super Sentai ripoffs. And no, Sentai and Power Rangers are not the same thing. One is crap, the other is Japanese.
That's what I was saying.
The only entries that maybe should be on this list are the ones that purely use American footage and don't adapt any Japanese tokusatsu shows. Anonymous. This article is grossly misleading. Please research your articles better before writing up an angry nerd bait. Oh my, oh my.
On what planet is Kuuga?
On what planet is Kuuga? Kuuga of all shows following the Sentai formula. How? Last three, a couple of the earlier ones, yes, but Akiba Ranger, the parody show made by Sentai, all about how Sentai is amazing. That's literally called the unofficial Sentai. Oh my god, I can actually hear my brain cry. So can I, Moss, so can I.
Yeah.
Jet Struton. In Kuuga, there's a monster who kills people by reversing over them with a truck. Just saying. Non del Cracker White. Could you please delete this article since you clearly did no research? It's very embarrassing. It's John Tron talking about politics level of not knowing what you're saying. Sentai Raima. This is like if you did a top 15 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles ripoffs and listed Daredevil.
Oh, and if you included the next mutation on there?
Yes.
Yeah, that's totally a ripoff.
Space Policeman. This article is objectively not accurate when it comes to describing a ripoff. A good deal of the series described here, such as Kamen Rider Kuuga, Ultraman Tiga, Toka Rescue Heroes, Voice Luger, and unofficial Squadron Akiba Ranger, can't possibly be described as ripoffs of Power Rangers in the manner your title is attempting to imply. Kamen Rider and Ultraman specifically are long ongoing series in Japan, as you described, but failed to apply further research. Kuuga and Tiga are relaunches of the franchise during a period of long hibernation, and the creation could hardly be said to be an attempt to cash in on the popularity of Power Rangers. Adaptations of Japanese programs such as Masked Rider, VR Troopers, Virtual Reality Troopers, Beetleborgs, Superhuman Samurai Cybersquad are more accurate in describing them as Power Ranger ripoffs because they clearly were created to capitalize on the hype of Power Rangers during the early to mid-90s. I don't even know what sort of criteria Tomaka Rescue has under your specification in order to be a Power Ranger ripoff, considering it was made in a period of at least a decade after the hype of Power Rangers. This is a poorly researched article, and having spent several years at a university both as a graduate student and as an employee, this kind of inadequate work would never be accepted for publication, and I would be reprimanded for doing such a bad job. Please reconsider what you consider quality work, internet or not. Good work ethic will always show. Thank you, Space Policeman, and I think, being that you are the last comment here, that's all we really need to say. Now,
Amen.
let you all enjoy that. Because once I end the stream, I'm now going to have to upload this to my freaking VidMe, and probably because it's one of the few things I can actually upload to my YouTube. My God! This article is so wrong.
I should Dave it.
Please do it.
Do it.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Article, you get a Dave!
Oh my God. It's so inaccurate. It's like you said, if you were to make a top 15 Ninja Turtles ripoff, and you included Ninja Turtles and X Mutation, Daredevil, and the Bay movies.
Yes, I just have to say this to it. Where's the Bleach?
Well, you can find Bleach on Crunchyroll.
Thank you for that.
Alright, I'll see you guys on the future.